Hello, my name is Generic Otaku, and welcome to the May 2024 edition of my monthly anime dump, in which I give you my opinion on the various animes I've watched over the month, so you don't have to waste your time watching trash anime. If you are new to my channel and want more anime, manga, and light novel content, make sure you subscribe. Without any further ado, I give you my May 2024 anime dump. The first anime up for this month's anime dump is the fall 2020 anime Jujutsu Kaisen Season 1. Kaisen is the type of anime that got hyped up by the broader anime community to the point in which it makes you almost sure that it's overrated. Luckily, this time at least, the broader anime community gets it right. This is due to a couple of factors. The main character, though your typical shonen main protagonist with a naive disposition towards villains and room temperature IQ, is likable enough to make you root for him. The supporting cast are fleshed out with their own memorable backstories and motivations, such as the backstory of the Zenin sisters that makes you care for them, in addition to their quirky personalities, which never overstayed its welcome and added to the comedy that made me laugh out loud at times. I particularly grew fond of Nobara and Fushiguro, as over time they themselves grew closer to Iridori. And of course, I love Gojo because he's a straight badass. Speaking of badassery, the fights in Kaisen are absolutely spectacular, and I would argue rival the likes of Naruto and Demon Slayer. They're extremely exciting with their mix of hand-to-hand combat and sorcerer powers, which results in battles that kept me on the edge of my seat. All of these attributes culminate in a viewing experience that is well worth your time. The only main critique I have is that I would have liked for at least one of the main villains to have actually died instead of escaping at the last minute, which seemed to have happened almost every fight. But besides that and the lack of romance, I really enjoyed Kaisen. I usually don't like pure shonens like Kaisen, in which their main draw is only action, but I can confidently say that I thoroughly enjoyed it through its runtime, which is why I give the first season of the fall 2020 anime Jujutsu Kaisen an 8.3 out of 10 with a recommendation to watch. The next anime up is an anime movie instead of the regular animes that are in episode format. Sword Art Online Progressive Aria of a Starless Night aired during the fall 2021 anime season. This anime is the adaptation of the progressive light novels, which is a new take on the original SAO story. Similar to many anime fans, SAO has a special place in my heart despite its flaws, many of which are overblown by individuals who are just repeating popular talking points without forming their own opinion, though I digress. I personally love the original anime, especially the Ironclad arc. That being said, I do enjoy this new version of the story as well. I enjoyed experiencing the story through the perspective of Asuna, particularly learning about her life prior to SAO and seeing the dynamic between her and her mother. I also really enjoyed the friendship between Asuna and Misumi, as we got to see them struggle to survive in the early weeks of being trapped in the game. Being able to see Asuna's struggle in the beginning makes her progression into being a top player more believable. In addition, seeing her cope with being trapped in a death game and eventually being abandoned by a friend resulted in some real rating moments a la 86, which was great character building by the writers. This character building enhances the absolutely beautifully animated fights by giving them depth and stakes, thus making them even more exciting that they kept me engaged, especially with the last boss battle. The only issue I have with this movie is that there is barely any romance in the movie, with Kirito coming in at the tail end of the movie, though even that is not a fair criticism because it seems like this version of the Asuna and Kirito love story will be more of a slow burn, which I am all for if the writers handle it well, which is why I rate the fall 2021 anime movie Sword Art Online Progressive Aria of a Starless Night a 8 out of 10 with a recommendation to watch. If you love the original SAO, then you will love this movie. The next anime up is the second progressive movie Sword Art Online Progressive Scarzio of a Deep Night, which aired during the fall 2022 anime season. This movie has me torn because it split what made SAO special and decided to go all in on one half of the SAO puzzle and completely abandon the other half. Part that Deep Night does well is the action part of SAO. Unlike the first movie that had to do a lot of legwork to set up the scene of SAO, Deep Night dove right into the action, and for the most part it didn't disappoint. The fights in Deep Night were spectacularly animated and kept me engaged throughout. The other critique I have, besides my main gripe with the film, is the story seemed to be a bit contrived, and the characters constantly repeated information as if the viewer had a memory of a goldfish. Besides that, the action part of the story was well done. The second part of this movie, and the part that brings what would be a pretty good anime movie down, is the almost complete absence of romance in the film. The most romantic scene that happens is, I kid you not, a scene where Asuna is petting Kirito after a boss battle, which is a far cry from the emotionally weighty and heartwarming scenes as we got in the original SAO. I understand Progressive is a retelling, but to cut such a crucial part of what makes SAO SAO is unforgivable. The main reason why I love SAO is its combination of action and romance, but this movie we got all action and barely if any romance. I was able to forgive Arya of A Starless Night for this lack of romance because I was under the impression that the relationship between Kirito and Asuna would be expanded upon via slow burn, not devolve and relegated to only being partners. This disappointment is why I rate the fall 2022 anime movie Sword Art Online Progressive Scarzio of a Deep Night a 7.5 out of 10 with a recommendation to watch. Even with my criticisms, this is a decent film that is worth your time, but as an SAO fan, it is not as good as it could have been. The last anime of this month's anime dump is More Than a Couple Less Than Lovers, which aired in the fall 2022 anime season. This anime is in the rom-com genre and can definitely serve as a template on how to properly execute a seasonal generic rom-com anime. It has a likable main character that allows you to root for him in Jiro, a hot female lead that has a great personality that makes you want her to end up with the main character in Akari, and a love rival in Shiori who pushes Akari and competes with her for Jiro's affections. More Than a Couple is a textbook example of a good rom-com anime and will probably be the type of anime that I compare others to as an example of what to do. The only real negatives about this anime are kind of nitpicky. One such issue is that Shiori as a love rival seems a bit weak in the sense that she lacks any depth as a character. Her purpose is to be the original love interest of Jiro and an obstacle for Akari to overcome, which is a purpose that she fulfills pretty well, but for More Than Lovers to be considered truly great, Shiori must be more than the stereotypical nice girl that the MC starts every rom-com liking. The second issue is the final episode seems like a waste of time. At the very least, the anime could have ended with a confession since enough happened between Jiro and Akari to warrant them having strong feelings for each other, but sadly the last episode is wasted on what seems almost like filler, which is why I rate the fall 2022 anime More Than a Married Couple But Not Lovers an 8.5 out of 10 with a recommendation to watch. If only the anime had a better love rival and a final episode, I would be able to give it a 9, but regardless, I love this anime and can't wait for a potential season 2. Well, those were the animes I watched during the month of May. I really hope you enjoyed the video and will check out the anime I recommended. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe for more anime related content. My name is Generic Otaku and I bid you farewell.